All right, guys, our next guest is coming off a dominant win over John Lineker at UFC 207 and will now be coaching opposite Cody Garbrandt in the latest season of The Ultimate Fighter before facing him for the UFC bantamweight title. A former champion himself, he is MMA's answer to Rambo, TJ Dillashaw. Welcome back to Submission Radio. How's it going today?
It's going great, guys. Appreciate you having me back on.
No, we appreciate it. First off, congratulations on the win at 207 over Lineker. And also, we know you have an insanely busy schedule right now, so we really do appreciate your time. And you've actually just finished with training. Yeah, you literally just got out of training right now, just walked out the door. And when you're not in the gym, you're filming this new season of The Ultimate Fighter. Early days filming at the moment, TJ, but what's it been like so far?
It's been great, man. I like coaching. I feel like I could be a great coach, or I am a great coach, and so I really get into it. I really enjoy it, and you learn a lot by coaching, and I'm coaching a awesome season, so it's going to be very entertaining.
For people that are wondering, I mean, we just see the show when it hits the TV screen, but how grueling is it? How many weeks usually do you have to shoot for something like this?
It'll be like a 6-week process, and it's nonstop, man. It's 7 days a week. Just always working. And I thought I'd have more downtime, but I really don't. I'm trying to train myself as well as coach. There is no downtime. There's no in between. Like I get home late. I'm when we're coaching fights, we're home even later. So it's been a lot of work, man. But I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's extremely taxing on the coaches, not just the fighters. How have you found the fighters, the guys in your team? Have you started forging these relationships? Are you finding that you're connecting with these guys, especially considering that you went through pretty much everything that they're about to go through? Yeah,
I'm connecting with them very strongly. You realize that you become not only a coach but a friend to these guys. And you really care about how they do, and I'm going to care about how they do even after this show. I don't only want to teach them things about how to win this show, but just have a successful career. If it could be inside the octagon or out, So yeah, it's you build some really close relationships, that's for sure.
I think the big question that everybody's wondering is, what's the vibe been so far on set, and your interactions with Cody? What have they been like? Because a lot of people sort of imagine or expect you guys to have quite a bit of tension on this season of The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh man, there's definitely some tension. I'm not really allowed to talk about how it goes down, but yeah, there's definitely tension, what it comes down to is some insecurities that he has, and him just, I don't know, being obsessed with me, really. I mean, I could care less what he's doing, and they're just so intrigued by me. I think it comes from some insecurities, and I've made the right choices in my life, and I'm proud of it.
That's interesting. I've never heard it being described that way. What makes you? What sort of do you see in him that makes you believe that he's obsessed with you? In what ways do you see that?
He's just worried about what I'm doing. Why is another grown man worried about how I live my life? You know what I mean? I wasn't ever close with him. I was never friends with him. And he's just obsessed with what I'm doing, and how I'm living and what's going on in my life. I don't question anything of what he's got going on, because that's him. I could care less. I just kind of feel like they're just obsessed over what I got going on.
Certainly. I mean, the big question here is what your coaching staff looks like going into the season. I mean, his coaching staff well. You've worked with a lot of them before, but who do you bring in on your side of the table when it comes to coaching?
I can't really discuss that. That's all going to have to happen when the show comes out. I've signed some waivers that I can't really talk about it. I can't release who's on the show. I mean, yeah, I can post some pictures of them. So, I posted some pictures. I have a lot of coaches. I have a lot of coaches out at Muscle Farm and Elevation. I have coaches that are out here in Vegas. I have other fighters that are from all around. I got Juan Archuleta. It's a great training partner of mine that's been helping me out. Robert Follis, that's out here at Extreme Couture. I got Dwayne Ludwig, Leister Bowling, Elliot Marshall, Lauren Lendau. I got some other guest coaches, some big-name guest coaches coming in. Really, I think that's what I kind of bring to the table is the knowledge and the actual coaches. I don't just have fighters coaching each other. I'm actually bringing in coaches that have dedicated their life to do it.
And I mean, the good thing is The Ultimate Fighter, it's like an entree before the main course, which is, of course, you fighting for that belt again. Now, obviously, you've been chasing this title shot for a long time, and you've certainly been deserving of it. How does it feel to finally have that locked in, TJ?
Oh, it feels awesome, man. it's good. I've done the hard work. I've worked my butt off. I've proved that I'm deserving of it, and so it's nice to actually get rewarded with what I'm deserving of.
Let's talk about the fight quickly between you and Cody. I mean, the fact that you've sparred with Cody in the past is a big thing going into the fight. How do you draw from those sessions, and how much confidence do they give you that you'll be victorious when the two of you fight, or is it something that you just discard because it was sparring?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. It is just sparring, but it does give me a lot of confidence. I practiced against a guy, and my fighter IQ is through the roof compared to his. And it's a lot easier for me to figure him out. And I'm very confident and excited for this fight. It's a perfect redemption story for me.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. I mean, he said that he was always the uncrowned champion of the gym, and of course, he's mentioned that he once knocked you out in training. That's had legs for days, and nobody's seen what happened between the two of you in the gym, and there's been no video or anything like that. But how excited are you to be able to go out in front of the world and sort of put an end to those rumors and do it on such a public stage and show who really is the best?
I mean, that's what counts. You know what I mean? I'm excited for that more than anything. He can talk whatever he wants. He can pump himself up and have to do it because he's insecure about the situation and knows that I'm the better fighter. He can say whatever he wants, but it's going to come down to that night, and that's the most exciting part about it. So this is what I live for. I live for these emotions and for getting out there and putting on a show and showing off for everyone.
I mean, let's just talk about this fight from a technical perspective. For everybody listening out there, where do you see your advantages in this fight between you and him?
Without giving anything away, but I think I'm just my well-roundedness. He's a great athlete. He was a good wrestler. I feel like he has good takedown defense, but he really doesn't have any good ground game. He's quick, but I use my range better. I'm a better all-around striker. I feel like he's got some good boxing. But I kind of put everything together a little bit better. Kicks to punches to wrestling, just kind of everything blended together, right? I think that's the best martial artists. We're fighting mixed martial arts. We're not boxing. So I think of blending MMA together is the way to be the best possible fighter.
Of course, and you've got obviously Dwayne Ludwig in your corner, and he's a guy who's obsessed with bringing out the best in obviously his athletes and his fighters. Just sort of looking at this. You mentioned that this is going to be a redemption story, and I agree with you 100%. And looking at it from the sort of storyline, I know you've never been a fan of trash talk and the whole WWE side of things. You've said that many times on the show. How much of this fight and this rivalry will be personal for you? Does it add anything, for you that it'll be him of all people specifically that you'll be taking the belt from?
No, man. I've learned a lot not to make things personal. I'm going out there and. There's a lot of pressure on just winning my belt back. So that's enough. I don't need to make it personal. I need to go out there and put a smile on my face. No matter how personal he tries to even make it, to me, it's about staying cool, calm, and collected, and that's how I'm going to be fighting my best.
There was a while ago when he was in a program, and he said that the next time that he sees you, that the two of you will have some words. Was there any point where you guys sort of off camera, things that maybe we won't see on The Ultimate Fighter, maybe had a chat, ironed out some things, just, I don't know, I guess squash the beef or anything like that?
No, not really squashing the beef, but off camera, not on interviews. Things are fine. Things are perfectly fine. Right? We're in rooms together, and things are nothing. But as soon as the camera's on and doing interviews, he's the tough guy because he wants to look cool. For him, about this it's all about looking cool and getting his social media followers up. It's a lot of petty stuff. He's into getting his hair lined up and his eyebrows waxed and looking as cool as he possibly can. But really, I think it makes him look. Just kind of dumb, I mean, to buy into all that and to he really doesn't have the wits behind him. He can talk, but really just him getting angry. I mean, you saw it with Cruz as well. He just kind of gets angry and loses it. He really doesn't have any valid points.
I think a lot of people are expecting that this season of TUF is just going to be, you guys at each other's throats the whole time and all this crazy drama. But is it fair to assume that, what was that first interaction like when you guys arrived on set and the cameras went off? Was it just handshakes and, hey, how you doing, and all cordial stuff?
Yeah, man. You guys will have to wait and see,
Yeah.
I can't be giving away no secrets.
Before we move off the topic, I just want to quickly also mention your wonderful wife, Rebecca Dillashaw, who does a lot behind the scenes when it comes to yourself and a lot of stuff that goes on a day-to-day basis. And I mean, this is a huge moment for yourself, but also for her as well. All the spotlight is on you. But how much of a help has she been, especially during a difficult time like this, where you have no downtime to really do anything?
Yeah, I mean, I look to her a lot, I mean, with just life, and then also keeping my head on straight with fighting, and controlling my emotions. And she knows how I work best. She's been with me for almost 11 years now. She's been through my wrestling career and now my fighting career. And she knows that. She prepares my food. She helps me just everything. I mean, without her, it'd be a lot harder of a journey. And she does everything she possibly can to make it easy for me. So yes, she's got a lot on her plate as well as I do.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
I'm not easy to deal with. I know that. I'm not very to put up with, and she does a good job.
Yeah, we're all a bit like that, so we can understand that, TJ. Our partners take it as well. But something else that we noticed, now last time you were on the show, he spoke to you about how you only made, by a lot of people's standards, people were shocked that you made 25 and 25, 50,000 for your win over a Sunset UFC 200. A lot of people thought you deserved more. This time, though, we're happy to see that you made 100 and 100, 200,000 for beating John Lineker. What happened? How did this pay increase come about? Was there discussions of a new contract or something like that?
I did sign a new contract. But also with that payment again, or with that fight against Sinsal, there was an LOA on my contract. So there's money that's shown publicly, and then there's money that's given on the back end. So I made more than what was shown. But and so I think that was also another reason why to re-sign the contract, because it kind of backfired on them, right? I mean, they don't want all the fighters to know how much you're making, but then also it looks bad in the public eye as well too. So. Yeah. I mean, I was doing better than what it showed.
Okay, and if you don't mind me asking, how many fights is this contract for?
I think I signed a 8-fight deal.
Okay.
I mean, the big.
What it comes down to, you just can't believe everything you read on the internet. It's not always the truth.
Well, of course. And I mean, at the moment, a lot of people sort of looking at the landscape of MMA, and we had Randy Couture on last week talking about the MMA FA. And of course, you're a part of the MMA AAA, which is a very, very popular group at the moment, the Mixed Martial Arts Association. We haven't really heard much from the association lately. Are there any updates? What can you tell us as far as things that have been going on the last few months?
Unfortunately, I haven't had any updates either because I've been so ridiculously busy. I went straight from my fight. I didn't get any downtime. I got called up for this Ultimate Fighter and came straight up to Vegas. So I haven't even talked or seen my management company yet, but I'm imagining that I'll hear something soon.
Do you still?
They're all working hard. They kind of told me that they're giving me. I mean, they're working hard on it, and they're staying active. But I have so much going on and so much on my plate right now that they're gonna update me here soon. They said they have some great news, and things are going great. So that's very positive to hear.
Yeah, I mean, we're all excited because I'm sure the next big update is around the corner. I'm just curious if anyone from the UFC at any point has spoken to you about that and your involvement, if there's been any conversations at all.
No, there hasn't. No. I was kind of curious about that too. I mean,
are you surprised?
Yeah, no. I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Not really sure.
It's interesting because, I mean...
I'm just staying neutral.
Yeah.
Staying neutral,
Yeah, and I mean, that's important. A lot of people sort of mention that it's not about attacking the UFC, but just getting what's best for fighters.
No.
Some people were a little bit disappointed because obviously Conor McGregor has been in the spotlight quite recently. And when speaking about the issue, didn't really get behind you guys when asked about it. A lot of people feel like the association would benefit greatly with his support. Were you disappointed when he sort of shut down the fact that he's not really supporting it at the moment?
Man, I don't do any news about MMA and fighting. I stay away from it. I mean, I don't. My life is fighting. I mean, I'm at the gym 24/7. So when I get home, I'm into watching some Netflix and not really getting into anything. I'm getting my mind somewhere else. I'm playing with my dogs, hanging out with my wife, living my life outside of fighting. Life is completely fighting, so I kind of stick away from it. So I don't really know much.
I have to ask you.
So whenever I do these interviews, I end up learning more about MMA and what's going on in the world of MMA when I do these interviews.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, I got to ask, what are you normally watching on Netflix? What's on the TJ Dillashaw playlist?
Oh man, I love binge watching. I get into something and then I get addicted. Just like I had to with training, I'd have a very addictive personality. Once I start watching something, I can't stop watching it. And so I've run out of things to watch. So I'm always researching new things or just finding what's on there. Right now, I'm watching a show. It's okay. It's called Black Sails.
Mm-hmm.
Black Sails.
It's okay. Yeah.
I've been watching Shooter.
I'm
okay.
I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. Was a huge fan of Breaking Bad and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when a new show comes to Netflix, everybody just has to check it out because everyone's seen everything that's on there already. But as we let you go, because we know you're a busy man, we have a couple of last questions. Before we move on from the Cody topic, when do you want to actually fight and when do you expect this fight to actually take place?
Well, I believe the air shows, like the first air of Ultimate Fighter is April 19th. So I'd imagine we wouldn't fight until the show's over. And so it's usually like 12 to 13 weeks of a season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd imagine after that, probably like in July.
Okay. And would you have a preference whether it would be, say, on a pay-per-view or at a TUF finale? Because sometimes they do it differently. Sometimes the coaches fight on the same show as the fighters, or sometimes they leave it to a pay-per-view. Do you have a preference?
As far as I've understood it, this fight's too big to be on a finale. This is going to be a big, hyped-up fight, and we're going to get a pay-per-view card.
Very nice.
Well, before we let you go, we want to talk about something that, me and Casper don't know much about, but it excites us, and that is knives. Now, we see on Twitter and Instagram, nice. You're about the knives these days, specifically Kershaw knives. How many knives do you own? What's the story? Can you tell us about a time when you used a knife? Did you ever did the kid ever have a pocket knife and you go, that's not a knife, this is a knife? Did you have any of those moments? Talk to us a little bit here, TJ.
No, it'd be a whole lot cooler if I did, but I definitely have some knives that would be impressive compared to a pocket knife. I mean, Kershaw, I have dozens and dozens of Kershaw knives. I mean, they're by far the best making knife, and that's why I approached them. If you haven't used a Kershaw knife, it's like using nothing else. I use it for hunting. I'm using it for when I'm camping. I'm using it to cook food with. They're very well rounded. I even got throwing knives, so I can go in the backyard and throw some knives around at targets. It's fun, man. But mainly I've grown up using knives because I've always been out in the wilderness. When you're out backpacking, 20 miles out in the wilderness and doing a drop camp for hunting, you definitely need a knife. And you need a knife for skinning and gutting your animal. You need a knife for making camp. And luckily enough, Kershaw has got every end covered on that. So I'm set up good. I mean, I probably, like I said, I have too many knives. I mean, there's knives I haven't even used yet. So I just kind of collect them. now. You
don't have enough arms for the amount of knives you have. Have you ever had to use your Kershaw knife, to get out of like a dicey situation? Because I'm imagining you like somewhere in the jungle with like a knife between your teeth, and before you know it, you're like using your knife to break into like some kind of Russian spy camp or something like that. Is that kind of what's happening on a weekly basis, TJ?
Not yet, but I'm ready for those survival situations. I'm packed and ready. I'm built for survival situations, and maybe one day we'll have a story about it.
Well, there you guys go. If apocalypse comes, we're all going to TJ Dillashaw's house. But for now,
I got plenty of room, man. Enough guns.
That's right. Hey, save us a spot, TJ. We make nice teas, and Casper can cook some good steak. So we deserve a spot. Guys, make sure to check out TJ on Twitter and Instagram at TJ Dillashaw. Of course, he'll be coaching against Cody Garbrandt in the latest season of The Ultimate Fighter. One of the hardest working men in the business right now, TJ Dillashaw. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule for being on the program. We can't wait to see what happens next.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate it. It's always a great talking to you guys. And like I said, I end up learning more about MMA just by talking to you guys. So I appreciate that.